My journey begins long, long, long ago. Thousands of years ago. But particularly about 300 years ago when women were burnt at the stake. Burnt at the stake for their powers of healing, powers of manifesting, powers that scared people, especially men. The masculine afraid of the feminine, eventually the feminine afraid of the feminine. Maybe those witches weren't evil. But wait, I was one of those witches! I have memories of being burnt at the stake. For all my life, I've been afraid of being seen, being heard. I've been afraid to feel the pain of being molested by my 18-year-old cousin at the age of 6. The pain of feeling my father's rage. So I created a wall around myself to protect myself. And soon enough, that wall became who I was. I was a tomboy playing ball with the boys in the hood. And when I turned 12 or 13, I went into my all-black phase, meaning I just wore all black all the time, every day. And throughout high school, people called me Queen Bee, like B for bitch. When I was graduating from college as a pre-med major, I didn't know what I was going to do with my life because there was no way in hell I wanted to go to medical school. I couldn't understand how the body could be disconnected from the mind and the spirit. And I got this pamphlet in the junk mail at my parents' house. And the cover said, Mind, Body, Spirit, Healing. And as I opened it up, a tiny voice inside me said, yes, this is it. This is what you need to do with your life. And within moments, I decided that I would go to naturopathic medical school. And thank God for my masculine side, because let's just say this yes didn't come without its challenges. Particularly from my parents, who, mind you, never took us to doctors. They didn't believe in allopathic medicine. My dad was a pharmacist and believed that all of the drugs were toxic. So we never went to doctors. And yet, they had groomed me since I was a child to become a doctor. So when I told them that I was going to naturopathic school, they said, no way, no, you cannot do that. And I said, but it makes perfect sense. Remember the yellow stuff that you made us drink when I was sick? The turmeric milk? This is what I'm going to learn about. Look, Ayurveda, right here. And remember those white sugar pellets? Isn't that called homeopathy or something? I'm going to learn about that too. And they just didn't get it. For a year and a half, they tried to convince me otherwise. I started naturopathic school, and they kept trying and hoping and trying to convince me that I would go to regular medical school. And to their benefit, they were probably scared to death that I would make no money. Because let's face it, Indians groom their kids to be lawyers and doctors so that they can make money when they grow up. So here I was going to naturopathic school and really needed my masculine side to keep moving through. But soon after I started school, I started having flashbacks. Flashbacks to my childhood and flashbacks to being burnt at the stake. And that tomboy started dissolving and dissipating. And the Durga arose. The witch arose. And the witch really had an opportunity to appear more fully when my mom got diagnosed with stage 4 renal cancer and was given 6 months to live. So I made my mom brews and concoctions that kept her alive 3 years past her 6-month, you've got 6 months to live diagnosis. And so I thought, oh yes, this is a purpose. Maybe I can go out and help the world. I can help all these people that have cancer, help them live healthier and longer and fuller lives. So I went into the oncology world, and door after door after door slammed in my face. And I didn't get it. Why was I here? What was my purpose? What was the point? And I kept asking, and I kept asking, and finally a small, tiny voice said, babies. Help people have healthy babies. What? What? Healthy babies? I resisted it for a long time. Until women started coming up to me and asking me if they could have my help in helping them with fertility, helping them have healthy babies. And honestly, all I remembered from medical school about infertility was women should lay in a special position with their legs up against the wall after having sex. That's all I remember. So I had to start researching and figuring out what the hell, why were people having trouble with this? Like, all my life, I went around trying not to get pregnant. Seriously, like, it was like the unwanted thing, right? Like, oops, I'm pregnant. And here were women that were literally struggling with having babies. And I couldn't understand it. So I started asking them what this was like for them. Why was this so challenging? Like, what was it? And they told me, well, I'm really tired of putting my life on hold. I'm tired of peeing on a fucking stick that's going to determine the rest of my life. And they were tired of having to go to the doctor to get injections in their butts that they felt humiliated about. And then the disappointment when even that didn't work. And most of all, they were tired of timed sex. What do you mean, timed sex? Well, I have this app on my phone that I enter what my temperatures are every day, and I enter my last menstrual cycle, and it tells me when to have sex. Yeah, I literally have to jump on top of my husband whenever the app says so, because there's such a small window of fertility. And even my husband is tired of it. Wow.
I'm one of those women. Anyway.
And what struck me the most was the feeling that these women shared about not being good enough. Their ovaries weren't good enough, and their eggs weren't good enough, and maybe they were just too fucking old. So when more women started asking me about help with infertility, I said, okay, but there's 3 things that you absolutely must know. I called them the conception misconceptions. Number 1, age is not the only factor. Yes, age plays a role in fertility, but seriously, there are women that are 60 years old in other parts of the world having babies naturally without any help whatsoever. So you at 45 can absolutely get pregnant. Number 2, nothing is wrong with you. Nothing is wrong with you. Just because you need help doesn't mean that something is wrong with you. And 3, there's only a 20% chance in any given cycle to get pregnant. So stop stressing yourself out. What occurred to me was that fertility had been put in this masculine medical box. If we manipulate these hormones at the exact right time, you'll get pregnant. Or maybe if we stimulate your hormones and release all of these eggs at once, you'll have higher chances of getting pregnant. Or we could just take all the eggs we can get out of your body, inject sperm into the egg, and then put the eggs back into you, and that will definitely get you pregnant. 20% of the time. A 20% success rate for something that costs $20,000? Are you fucking nuts? Seriously? So I decided to put all the knowledge I had and all the experience that I'd gained in my years of practicing and what all the women had been telling me into a program, a feminine program, that empowered women to reconnect with their feminine source. And it allowed the men to really reconnect with their masculine source. And it worked 95% of the time. And the tenets of this program were really simple, but they had to be individualized to each person's bodies. Step 1, detoxify the body, clear the channels. Step 2, rebalance the hormones, nourish, re-nutrify the body. And step 3, heal the underlying mental and emotional imbalances. And women that had been trying and trying and trying for like 5, 6, 7 years got pregnant in 3 months. And women that had multiple miscarriages got pregnant and stayed pregnant. And women that had been through several rounds of IVF got pregnant and had healthy babies. So this program really worked, but it worked to create healthier parents. It worked to help the babies grow and be nurtured in a nourishing, healthy, nutrient-rich environment like it was always meant to. And it worked to help all of those women that had babies reduce their chances of breast and ovarian cancer too. So I guess this is what I was supposed to do with my life. Thank you, small voice.